Project BBQ is no longer just a project. This game has become the beacon of light that will guide the lost players of DFO's sanctuary. And I want to talk a bit more about why DFO players need a sanctuary, but first I'm going to focus on Project BBQ. So I'm just going to comment on the trailer as we're going through this. It seems like here what we're seeing is a weapon master walking through town, and then next to him you'll see a berserker. It's kind of cool that they added two of the same characters to the trailer. They're letting us know for sure the Slayer is going to be a primary source of attention, as it should be. It's one of the most popular classes in DFO. There's the weapon master again, but it looks like a weapon master boss. Here is the Frost Witch and the Fire Witch, which are very, very widely known to appear within the DFO starter zones. Then we have the Minotaur boss, which again is another starting boss. So they are letting us know that nostalgia is primary and key in this game. And oh my god, the visuals, even the gunner. If anything, I would say that this is a ranger, and I say that because of the dual revolvers. So we can assume that that class is confirmed for the male gunner. The next class that shows up here would be the female mage. This is for sure an elementalist. And I say that because the only thing that would be closer would be the witch, but she's not using broomstick skills. She's using, like, it looks like Arctic Burst. This is one of those classes that are always phenomenally strong. Hopefully they will add the male and female counterparts to each of these classes that we're seeing. So here you can kind of see the full party fighting a boss and how the boss fights are going to go. Then they introduce the female fighter. Female fighter is by far one of the most highly played classes, so I'm extremely happy to see that it's coming into the game. I can't really tell from the animations whether this is more of a striker or a grappler. It kind of looks more like a striker, to be honest, but I can't really be sure just from the few animations that they give us, but still excited to see it. I'm hoping that they will add all four of the original class combinations once the game launch, or the class advancements I should say. That would be the ideal, but we haven't gotten any of this confirmed. We only know what we've seen in the trailer, because the website, and which I'll show later, the website doesn't always cover Project BBQ. It only covers Overkill, which I'm hoping they will get us a separate website for this. So it seems like all of the original classes for DFO have been confirmed. One thing that is not for sure is that if we have all four original advancements for each of these classes. One thing I would like to speculate is that because we are seeing each of these characters in the same avatars traverse through various different dungeons and bosses, is that the game will have a similar avatar system as the original DFO, where you will have to purchase avatars. The next reveal we have in this trailer is the Demonic Lancer, as he jumps over the crowd of the original cast of characters to block them from the boss's AoE. This is one class that I didn't get to play, but the gameplay on it looks phenomenal. The combos are all in sync, the movements are smooth, his beginning costume looks absolutely nostalgic. What I love to see are the amazing combos that the devs and the GMs were able to produce in this trailer, but what I don't hear is the announcer and the combo chain beater. There's absolutely no way this can be Project BBQ without the announcer saying back attack, overkill, and announcing my combo, so I'm hoping that that will be added soon. The trailer is not over yet. What we have here is more of a trailer teaser, a cliffhanger, so to speak. What I'm assuming is that this Demon King will be one of the main antagonists in Project BBQ. That is my speculation, as he looks a little too epic to just be a normal boss. Alright, so what I want to show you guys next is actually DnF Overkill. Overkill Studio is using Unreal Engine to develop this ARPG. This is not going to be an MMORPG like Project BBQ, and that is my assumption as to why they're releasing Overkill first. It takes a considerably less amount of resources to create an ARPG than it does an MMORPG. So them being financially literate, they are most likely going to release Overkill first. And there is some confirmation in that and what they are recruiting, the careers website, which I'll show you later. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll to this website now, and you'll see them describing their game and how they changed Dungeon & Fighter to 2D to 3D. So it seems that they are attempting, or they are focused on nostalgia first. And this trailer I'm not going to show here just because it won't be as high quality. I'm actually going to go through the trailer later. But they are definitely focusing on nostalgia. So having Syria in the original costumes, some of the original areas of ARAD into this game. You'll see some of the screenshots and videos. I just scroll through here, and like I said, it will definitely bring you nostalgia if you played DFO. Even the original enemies are included here. What kind of threw me off is that they have the original forecast here, but then they have the female priest. That was a little odd to me because it should be the male priest. And we also didn't really see much of the priest in the Project BBQ trailer either. So I'm really curious on what they're planning to do with the priest class in both of these games, not just Overkill. Maybe something to keep an eye out. And this is where I was speaking about the careers and what they're recruiting, because they're showing their team, and which is currently working on the game, and then they are also recruiting. Now, again, if you go to the recruiting website, you'll see multiple positions for Overkill. You don't see any positions specifically for Project BBQ, though Overkill Studios and Action Studios seem to be some of the same teams that are working on Project BBQ. It seems that their main focus, as they've highlighted, is Overkill. So I can assume that we will see that game before we see Project BBQ, even though the first trailer for Project BBQ are released before the announcement of Overkill. So what I'm going to do next is, like I said, I'm going to go through the trailer for Overkill, and let's comment on what we see there. Neopal knows exactly what they're doing, because from the beginning of this trailer you can see the Slayer. So obviously their bread and butter, it's what gets people attracted. The huge greatsword, the awesome animations. Then they have the female mage. So we have the Slayer and the female mage announced again, just as in Project BBQ. And then next we see here, it looks like the Lancer is actually announced. Then they start panning through some of the enemies, some of them of which are from like Grand Florist area. I see one boss from Sky Tower. I haven't seen much on Behemoth. Some of these are looking actually new. Then they announced the Gunner. Again, it looks like the Ranger, because you see the dual revolvers, okay? And his animations just look absolutely amazing. Then the female mage comes in with her Halloween Buster, and she starts going through what looks like could be an Arctic Burst. This is definitely an elementalist. Then we have another gunner. It looks like the launcher. Like, they really love their gunner class. It's apparent, and I see why. Next we have the weapon master that shows up. Though he is wearing a katana, he does not have his lightsaber. His skills are very nostalgic and easy to recognize. Next we have the berserker with his blood demon AoEs. I saw Outbreak, and it looks like he's in frenzy mode right now. They're switching frequently between points of views, which makes me think this is not going to be your typical ARPG. The point of view in the map changes depending upon your position in the boss room and the type of fight, and that is very unique and very interesting of a feature, and which I have not seen in many other ARPGs. From my point of view, Dungeon & Fighter Overkill is neither a top-down nor a side-scrolling ARPG, it is both. And that's what makes it phenomenally different. As long as they include some of the nostalgia from DFO, I will definitely be playing this game. Now I want to talk to you guys about the current state of DFO. I have played DFO from the first time it launched and then failed or shut down, and then the second time is launched, which that is where we are currently. Okay, and what I have seen from this game is that it is a shadow of its greater self in KDNF. It is a shadow of what it is in Korea, but honestly that is every game that America gets from Korea. It seems that the Korean developers never truly publish a game in NA correctly, or the same way that they do in Korea. And what I've seen from this game is there has been very little to almost no advertisement for DFO. So that really makes me surprised when I see how well DFO is currently doing. There is a very niche player base of DFO. It is not large by any means for an MMORPG, but it is very niche, and the player base is very nice, which is good because most MMORPGs will typically have somewhat of a toxic community. So I'm very happy to see that DFO does not. I've had nothing but good times in my return to DFO. I have 2 characters that are above level 70, and I am reaching in game on DFO Neo, which is the level 100. And once I hit level 100, I will start raiding. Hopefully I can find some friends and some people that will show me the way. So I will kind of update you guys on how in-game is. But the leveling experience, the community experience, and the PvP experience in DFO, surprisingly, is still alive. People aren't doing ranked PvP, but there are lobbies in which people are always fighting and just kind of having a good time. Again, it's very surprising to see that, because at first glance, you would think from the Steam reviews that the game is not doing well, but the Steam reviews are very misleading. And because these Steam reviews are so misleading, I felt the need to bring them up into this video. So we're going to go through some of these. This guy has 11, almost 1,200 hours, and then he doesn't recommend the game. I personally say that any game you spend 1,200 hours on, there was something that attracted you to this game. And I understand why he may not have recommended from reading, like just summarizing what he's saying. He's basically a hardcore player. He got to end game, and he didn't like how you're forced to grind to level 100 to get all the new gear from the previous content. But a lot of games will do that, including like World of Warcraft and some of the staples. Like once a new content patch comes out, they do invalidate previous gear. So I mean, okay, that's it's an opinion, right? I respect everyone's opinion. But he's trying to say that you should skip the game because of the paywall, so to speak. But you can get everything in DFO in game. It will cost you a lot of grind, but that's typical in any Korean game. What he's saying is that it's easier to swipe in order versus grinding. And I get that. Yeah, it is easier to swipe, but it's not pay to win because it's a PvE game and you can party with people regardless. There's no leaderboards in PvE and DFO, so if you want to have a free to play experience, you're welcome to do so. And there's a lot of people that recommend the game, but it seems as though the people who have the most hours are the most valid opinions, at least in my opinion. Like, I'm not gonna listen to someone who has 2 hours into the game. Like, this guy downvoted it because it has no controller support. The game's just not meant to be played on controller. That's why it's no longer on Xbox. But again, like, there's some very, very mixed reviews, and a lot of the downvotes, they didn't really give the game a chance. There's not many downvotes that have a lot of hours. This is another one that does have a lot of hours. This guy has almost 4,000 hours into the game. But the thing is, he had $2,500 at the time of his review, so he went back and played it after he didn't recommend it. So that's where we currently stand with DFO. DFO has a completely unique experience that we can't get anywhere else, and because we can't get this experience, this 2D arcade action combat, we can't get this anywhere else, so we're forced to come back to DFO. And I believe that is the main reason as to why the game succeeds, because even I stepped away from DFO for a while and then I came back because I can't get this experience anywhere else. So the fact that you have people not recommending the game and coming back, it speaks for the volume of the game. Now, what I will personally say is that even though the game itself is great, the way that the game is handled is not great, and that is the current state of DFO. Neopal is not doing what they need to do in order to cater to an American audience. The fact that we still have fatigue, and even though they give out fatigue potions, is a huge blow to any American space, because we don't like to be content locked behind fatigue or a system of stamina by any means. It's the same problem that Soul Worker has. So that right there is one of the main reasons as to why I believe it didn't succeed. Or it's doing okay, but it's not extremely successful in NA. The player base is very stable, but it's very niche, which in my opinion, it may be a good thing for a game like this, because having a large community sometimes just creates unnecessary toxicity. However, for those people that want to level with another person, it is not really possible to completely level with another player unless you start with a friend, because most of the player base in DFO is at end game. So if you want to have a good actual multiplayer experience in DFO, I encourage you to hit the end game. I do encourage you to play the game because it is extremely fun, and even though you will be playing mostly solo as you level, there are a lot of cutscenes in which make the game very interesting to play solo. It's kind of like playing a single player game until you get to end game, unless you want a PvP. So all in all, I would say the current state of DFO is that it is an extremely fun game, and it is an experience that you will not get anywhere else. As far as anime action games, it still has the best combat system that I've seen. The most customization in skills and build, and even cross-class skills. Alright, so summary. What you should take from this video. I recommend playing DFO. I recommend this because it is an experience that you will never get in another game. DFO is a precursor for the great games that are to come, such as Overkill and Project BBQ. And if you want some jump on the story, if you want to get a hold of the combat and the classes, then it is highly recommended to play the original game, DFO. The current state of the game is a shadow of itself in Korea. However, it is still a phenomenal game for its classes, its combat, and its unique avatar and customization system. Its PvP and its PvE are still alive. In PvE, you have to hit the end game, and in PvP, there is a skill cap in order for you to have fun. But all in all, I do recommend it, and I thank you for watching the video. Peace and love, you guys.